Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this session. In this session, we will look into the cascading of the styles and how the conflict will happen whenever there is a different levels of styling, and there is always a conflict can happen, and how the CSS provides a system which will help the browser to determine how to resolve the conflicts. One second. Okay, first thing is why the conflicts happen. There are various reasons for that. First thing is there are three different types of a style sheet. One is author created, user defined, and the default browser style sheet. And in author created style sheets, it can have a multiple rules for the same HTML element. We saw that in the last class. There can be multiple rules for the same HTML element. CSS has the system to help browser to determine how to display elements when different style rules conflict. Whenever there is a conflict, so CSS has a mechanism to by which a browser can determine which particular style should be applied. A cascade in CSS refers to how conflicting rules are handled. So that is the cascade. That is the meaning. How the conflicting rules, the rules at multiple level, different styles, and what styling should be applied. That is the conflict. Resolving that particular conflict is the cascading thing. The visual metaphor behind the term cascade is that of a mountain stream progressing downstream over a rocks. So that is a metaphor we have. The downward movement of the water down a cascade is meant to be analogous to how a given style rule will continue to take precedence with the child elements. Okay, when we will see what this means when we see the actual examples. Then the CSS uses the following cascade principle to deal with the resolving the conflicts. So those principles are inheritance, specificity, and the location. These are the three principles based on which the conflict will be resolved. First one is inheritance. Many but not all CSS properties affect not only themselves but their descendants as well. For example, font, color, list, text properties are inheritable, and layout, sizing, border, background, and spacing properties are not. So what is inheritance? You already understand the meaning of the inheritance. So inheriting a certain thing, in this case the properties from parents. Descendants inherit certain properties from their parents. There are certain properties that are inheritable. Means what? If a parent has that property, automatically the child or the descendant will inherit those properties. So such properties are called as inheritable properties. Example, font, color, list, text. Okay, we will take examples where we will clearly understand what is inherited and what is not inherited. And there are certain properties which will not be inherited from the parent. These are the examples of the properties: layout, sizing, border, background, spacing. All these properties are not inherited. Here is the example. We have a CSS rule here for the body, and this is the HTML element body, and inside the curly braces we have the list of properties. First one is the font family, colon, we have Arial. Then second property, second declaration, color, colon, red. So whatever the fonts or whatever the entities are that are displayed inside the body, it will be displayed in a red color. Border, we have 8pt solid green, means the border thickness is 8 point and it is a solid line, it is green in color. And margin is, we will see the box model. Right now you understand the margin is whatever the space you get from the parent. So here this is the parent and this is the body. It will have a margin of 100 pixel, so left, top, right and the bottom. So that is the margin. In this particular, there are 1 2 3 4 properties are there. Out of these properties, the font family and color are inherited. What is the meaning of inherited? Whichever the HTML element that is inside the body will inherit this font family and this color, and these two properties are limited to only the body. These are not inherited. Border and margin, these are not inherited. So this is the structure of the HTML document. We have HTML, we have head element, inside we have meta information and the title information. In the body we have, these are the different HTML elements that are inside the body. We have h1, h2, p, img, h3, div. There are two divs and paragraph. Inside this paragraph I have a link, hyperlink, anchor. Then we have a strong, another HTML element. Inside this division we have two paragraphs, and inside this paragraph we have a time HTML element. Similarly, inside this div we have two paragraphs, and inside this paragraph we have a time. Now if you see what style we have specified, it is for the body, right? So body will have a font family as a Arial, color as a red, and body will have a border which is 8 point thickness and solid line and green in color, and it has a margin of 100 pixel. All these properties, among all these four properties, these two, font family and color, are inherited by all these descendants. So these are the child of body and this is a descendant. So all these descendants will inherit this particular property, that is font family as Arial and color as red. The other properties, that is border and margin, these are not inherited by these elements. These two properties are limited to body. I will show you a code example. Okay, this is the code, inherit.css, inherit underscore css. I think that is the one. Let me open. Okay, this is the same example what I have. Let me show that particular HTML how it will be displayed on the browser. I will open the folder. This is my HTML tags folder. Inside this I have inherit. Okay, see, this is inherit underscore css HTML. So you can see here, this is how the structure is. Okay, here, okay, this is another example. Don't worry, which is exactly, it would be similar to that. Here I have a document. In this particular document, I have a head section and I have a title. Title is inheritance. That is what you can see here, the title of the tab. This is the opening of the style, closing of the style. Inside here I have div, and div has font hyphen weight as bold, font hyphen style as italic, margin 50 pixel, and border 5 point, solid line and a green in color. That is a border color. You can see that. And for paragraph I have border inherit. Okay, so border inherit. Let me see if I have the original example, then we can go to the next level. This is at the next level. So we will just go through this particular document. This has some advanced information than what we are just seeing. Okay, so here we see, okay, so body. So right now you don't worry about this paragraph, what is the meaning of that. You just focus on this div is equal to all these things. What I will say, border as none, so that you don't have to worry about that. I just saved it. I will reload the page. Something went off, don't worry. We'll go through this document. Now this is the close of the head, then we have the body. Inside the body we have h3 review. So this review, if you see here, it is inside the body, and whatever is the default nature of the review, that is the style given by the browser, that is how it will be displayed. And after that I have a div, and inside div I have two paragraphs. These two paragraphs will inherit, first thing is the div. You can see the h3 reviews. Okay, this is h3 reviews, and this div, you can see this property will apply to div. Whatever the elements inside the div doesn't have any presentational content, so we will have whatever inside div will come as bold, and it will come as italic. These are two are inheritable properties. Margin and border are not inheritable. So you can see margin as 50 pixel. So this div, there are two divs actually. Okay, inside this is the first div. You can see the margin. There is a margin of how much is specified here, 50 pixel. So 50 pixel margin here, 50 pixel margin here, 50 pixel margin on the right, and 50 pixel on the bottom. Similarly, this div, this is the second div, this will also have those properties like 50 pixel left, top, right, and the bottom. And they will have a border. You can see both has a border, 5pt solid green. So this is the div border, this is the div element. Inside the div I have a paragraph by Ricardo on September 15, 2012. Now if you see here, this paragraph will inherit the properties of div. What properties it will inherit? It will inherit only the font weight, that is bold, and font style italic. If you see this paragraph, both the paragraphs, they will inherit the div, and they have the same property whatever is in the parent, because it inherited. So both are displayed as bold, and both are in italic. Similarly, you can see these two paragraphs, this paragraph and this paragraph, they have inherited bold and italic. That is how they have been shown like this. Okay, now these paragraphs did not inherit margin or the border. These paragraphs do not have a margin or paragraph. Okay, the reason being, by default margin and border are not inheritable. Let us say just as an advanced level, we will see certain properties by default they are not inheritable. Okay, like margin and border, but you can force it to inherit it. How to do that? You will say I have a paragraph here. By default it is going to inherit the bold, font weight bold, and font style italic. Border, margin and border, it is not going to inherit. So what I will do is I will say border property, and I will say inherit, and I will save it. Now I will reload the page. Okay, now you can see. Now I have just inherited the border. I did not inherit the margin. Margin is, that's why you can see there is no margin here. Whatever is the default margin, it is showing that, but it has inherited the border from the parent. And what is the border? A 5pt solid green. Okay, that is what it has inherited. If I remove this, inherit none. If I say this as none, then what it is going to inherit? It is going to inherit only the bold and the font style as italic. So I will come back here. So you can see it did not inherit. Okay. So this is the example. I had a different example which gives the same results. So what I had is this one. So the next one. So it is possible to tell elements to inherit the properties that are normally not inheritable. In this case, you can see border we are saying inherit, margin we are saying inherit. So in the same example, if I go back, okay, this particular example, and if I say I will add margin also, and I will say inherit. Right now I am inheriting only the border. Now I will inherit the margin, also inherit the border. In save it. After saving, I will reload the page. Now you can see there is a additional border 50 pixel. So 50 pixel, and also it has inherited the margin as well as the border. So this is how you will do. This is the same example what I just shown you. So in this particular example, font weight, bold is inherited, margin and the border are not inherited. This one is a very simple example. Similar to what we just saw. Then specificity. One is the inheritance. Now you understood what is inherited and what is not inherited. That is how the conflict will be resolved. The second cascade principle is the specificity. Specificity is how the browser determine which style rule takes precedent when more than one style rule could be applied to the same element. So specificity will make sure that if there are more than one rule to be applied for a certain HTML element, which style rule should be applied is decided by the decided as per the specificity. The more specific the selector, the more it takes the precedent, overrides the previous definition. So the more it is specific, so the more it is specific is towards the HTML element. From, you can say, from external file, the styles which are in the external file, and if I compare it to the styles which are in the HTML element, the styles in the HTML elements are more specific. So those roles, those styles will override whatever is in the let us say head section or whatever is in the external files. That is how the specificity is decided. The way that specificity works in the browser is that the browser assigns a weight to each style rule. When several rules apply, the one with the greatest weight takes precedence. So what the browser will do, it will assign a certain weight according to the styling rule, and whichever style has the highest weightage, that particular style will be applied to the particular HTML document. Here you can see this is the example. We have here body. Inside the body I have font weight, that is bold, color is red, and this is inherited by all the div, paragraph and everything that is inside this particular body. The next level what I have, so these color and the font weight properties are inheritable and thus potentially applicable to all the child elements contained within the body. So inside this body, we have all these things. So every element is going to inherit these two properties, that is color red and font weight as bold. Then we have the div. Okay, the div has font weight as a normal and color magenta. If you see here, the font weight is also specified inside the division. So inside the division, font weight is given as normal. So this particular property is more specific compared to this. So this property will override this one. For all the div elements, what we are going to say, font weight as normal, and color, it is going to override whatever is in the red. That is, it is going to override magenta. So inside div, we will see font weight as normal and color as magenta. And this is the paragraph. Inside the paragraph, we have only color. So font weight is inherited from the body. Okay, then if this paragraph is directly inside the body, it will take the bold. If this paragraph is inside the div, it will take the normal. So whichever wherever this paragraph is present, it depends on that particular value it will take. So it will set color as green. So the paragraph, irrespective whether it is inside the body or div, it will override these two properties which are set in the div and body, and color would be set as green. Then this is a if you remember yesterday, it is a class selector. Okay, the name of the class is last. So how it is done? Dot last. So if there is a class specified, then color blue, it will override everything else. Then this is the id selector. Id selector, we see the hash symbol followed by the id name. Id name is very last. So this will override everything else. If there is a id set as very last, then it will write the color, that is orange. So it will override all these colors. Here you can see the html. We have the html document. Some text is there. This text is not written with a p element. So this is just written like that in the document. Then we have a paragraph. This particular element is inside the body, so it this will be displayed on the browser with this style, means it will be bold and red. So I will show the actual code. The same code is has been written there. I will show you the actual code. Okay, specificity example. Right click, open with notepad, and I'll go to the browser and I will open specificity example underscore example. So this is how it will look like. Now I'll open the HTML and just will do the comparison. So I have the same HTML. We have HTML document. Inside head, I have the style. Inside the style, I have body. So it is very similar to what you saw in the presentation. Body has two properties: font weight, bold, color, red. Then div, font weight normal, color magenta, paragraph, color green. Then this is a class selector, color blue. Then this is the ID selector, hash very last. It has color orange and font size as 16 pt. Now, as we parse through the our HTML body, and also will keep an eye on what is the style we have, so that we can easily understand why particular text is shown with a particular style. So inside the body, we are inside a body, and this is not inside any paragraph or anything. This text is not within p element, so it will follow this style. That is the style of the body, bold and red. You can see this text not within a p element. It is shown with a bold and red, which is inherited from the body. Next we have the paragraph. This paragraph is inside the body. For body we have bold and red. Paragraph is, if you see, there is no font weight, so font weight will be inherited here. That would be bold, and color will be overridden. Paragraph has green, so how the paragraph will be shown? It would be shown as bold and green. So paragraph reviews, it is shown as bold and green. Next, again we have some comment as of November 15, 2015. This is not inside any other element, it is directly inside the body. So it will follow the style of the body, that is bold and red. So comments on this, it is bold and red. Next, we have a div, we have body, div, and paragraph by Ricardo on September 15, 2015. So there are three levels of styling. One is body, one is div, and one is paragraph. So body font weight bold, and div. The div is the next level. It is next specificity. It will override this. Now font weight will become normal. Inside the paragraph, we don't have a font weight, so font weight would be normal. And body color is red. It is overridden by the division magenta, and paragraph has a color green. It will override both these two. So this paragraph, these two paragraphs will show with these green color, green and normal. Now you can see inside the div I have one more text. This text is not within p element, so this will follow body div. That is the style it is going to follow. um, Body font weight bold, div will override, the font will become normal. Any questions? Okay. Now, this particular this text is inside the body and div. So body has a font weight bold. It is overwritten by the div, that will become normal, and color is red, overwritten by magenta. So basically this text will follow whatever is in the div, that is normal magenta. You can see this is in the normal and magenta. Similarly, it will go with the other one. So we have here a div. Inside the div we have the paragraph. It will be exactly same as this one. Then last one we have uh, div is there. Inside the div we have a class last. So and sorry, div is there, paragraph is there, and class is there. Now what will happen is, uh, div is there. Okay, the font weight will become normal, so color will become magenta. Then paragraph is there, so paragraph, it will make it as green color. Then it also has a class id. Okay, sorry, it has a class, so color will become blue. So how the font will be displayed? Normal and blue. So normal and blue. And the last one is, we have class as well as we have the id. Id is the most specific. So now what will happen for this particular element? We have a body. Inside the body we have div. Inside the div we have the paragraph. Inside the paragraph we have class, and we have id. So according to that it will be styled. So we will just see the font weight, initially bold, overwritten normal, then font weight becomes normal, red overwritten by magenta, magenta overwritten by the paragraph green, and the green is overwritten by the blue because it's a class. Then it has a id. So id here you can see color is orange, so it is going to override all these currents, all these colors. So it will become font weight normal, color orange, and font size 16 pt. Thanks for posting. This will show up in the orange, normal, and 16 pt. So that is how the styles are, the conflicts are resolved and they are displayed. Any questions? So this is the algorithm that is followed for finding the specificity of the particular element. First, we have to count one if declaration is from a style attribute in the HTML, zero otherwise. Means if we have the style specified in the HTML element, excuse me, then we are going to give a value of 1. Otherwise we are going to give the value of 0, that we call it as a. Then count the number of id attributes in the selector. So we have to calculate number of the ID attributes in the selector. Then that value would be the second value, that is B. Then count the number of attributes and pseudo clauses in the selector. So attributes as well as pseudo clauses, then it will become value C. Then count the number of element names and pseudo elements in the selector. So that will become value D. Now, finally, we have to concatenate all these four values A, B, C, D, and together it will decide the particular selector's specificity. So to understand this, we will see one example, then it will be clear what we just talked about. Here is the example, how to find this specificity value. Here we have a example, div color green. So if you go by this particular statement, HTML element, we do not have a inside the style attribute, we are not specifying, so this will be 0. Then count the number of ID attributes in the selector. There are no ID attributes, so this is becomes 0. Then count the number of attributes and the pseudo classes. This will also become 0. Count the number of element names and pseudo elements. So this will become 1 because we have div. So we have only div as 1. So this is 0, 0, this is 0, and this is 1. Okay. Now in the next one, this is exactly the same to this one, but we have two elements here, so it will become 0, 0, 0, 2. Now this is the third example, is a class attribute. Okay, so first one is inside the HTML element we do not have. Count the number of ID attributes, we do not have. Count the other attributes and pseudo classes. So this is nothing but a class. Okay, pseudo class. So this is 0, 0, 1, 0. And this is the example where we have the ID. So first one, HTML element, inside the HTML element, no, so 0. ID 1. So we have one ID here. So 0, 1, the others two becomes 0. Now in this particular case, I have one HTML element and one ID. So first thing, inside HTML element 0, I have ID 1. So 1, classes, pseudo classes 0, and HTML element 1. So it will become 0, 1, 0, 1. Now next one is the, we are specifying the style inside the HTML element. So you can see here, div style is equal to color colon red. So this is the way we are specifying the style in line. Whenever we specify in line, this will become 1. So this is 1, 0, 0. So this is the very specific value. So this is the most specific value. Next is the location. So if when inheritance and specificity cannot determine style precedence, the principle of location will be used. Suppose the first thing you will use is inheritance. By inheritance, if it is easily you are able to resolve the conflict, that is fine. If not, you will go to the specificity. You will check the specificity, the value of A, B, C, D, and whichever has the highest specificity, that will be that particular style will be assigned. Let us say if there is using these two things, it is not possible to identify which style should be chosen, then we use the principle of location. The principle of location is that when rules have the same specificity, then latest are given more weight. So if let us say for certain example, this specificity value of 2 comes as the same, then whichever is the latest will be given the preference. So you can see this is the example. First one, we have the browser default style settings. Whichever the browser you have, every browser has a default style setting. And then we have the user styles.css. Whatever the styles users are specifying, we have that one that is included here. So that is styles a.css. This is the file we have, and inside that I have a id, okay, example, which overrides the color green. Now whatever is in this particular browser default style, that styles will be overwritten by the user style. If you specify any particular style here, excuse me, those styles will override the browser default styles. Then this is the first style sheet I have. I have one more style sheet here, styles www.css. Now this location, okay, this one comes later. This whatever is present in this will get overridden by whatever is in this. So let us say first example, this particular style will override this, and this we whatever we have in this color green will be overwritten by this particular style sheet. Inside this style sheet, what we have, color colon blue, so this will override this green. Then we have, again we have specified the format inside the style hash example color orange. So color orange will override this blue color, and inside the example itself I have magenta. This later, whatever is specified later or the latest, will override the previous one. Then if you come inside the body, in the paragraph as a inline style, I have specified the color. Style is equal to color colon red. So this will override the magenta. So sample text is given. Can you guess what will be the color of the sample text? Can anybody guess what is the color of the sample text? Any guesses? Red? Why red? See, this is the inside the paragraph. Okay, inside the paragraph we have specified the color as red. So this is the, now it overrides all the colors that are specified. That is why it is the color of this sample text would be red. That is correct. Okay, Sanket and Vibha, you are correct. Because whatever goes in inline, so location wise, this is the most specific location, and this is the most generic specification, either browser default style or the whatever the present in the css. This is how it will override. Okay, next one more question is here. What color would the sample text be if there wasn't an inline style definition? Okay, so question is, what would be the color of sample text if there wasn't an inline style definition? What would be the color? Magenta. Very good. Okay. Now what we are saying is, let us say we don't have this inline color. So if this inline color is not there, automatically this sample text will take a color of this one. Okay, color magenta, it will take that one, because we have a id example. Id example is this one. Okay, this particular id, and inside that they have specified color as orange and then color as magenta. So whatever is the latest color, that will override previous one. So this sample text will shown as magenta if we don't have this inline style. That is correct. Very good. There is one exception to the principle of location. If a property is marked with exclamation important. So this is the only exception where the principle of location is not used. If we have this particular property as marked as exclamation important in an author created style rule, then it will override any other author created style regardless of its location. If it is specified as exclamation important, then it will override everything. It will not follow the rule of principle of location. The only exception is the style marked with a exclamation important in a user style sheet. Such rule will override all others. Okay, so that is the only change. Otherwise, it will follow the principle of location. The box model. Here, the box model, very important question from the exam perspective. They will ask what is box model and explain. In case of a CSS, all HTML elements exist within an element box. So earlier I showed you one example. There was a div, right? And for a div, we specified a border, and you could able to see the box for the div, right? Even though div do not have any presentational or appearance related aspects, but still it has a border. So every HTML element inside the what we have that exists will have a element box. Okay, it is absolutely essential that you familiarize yourself with the terminology and relationship of the CSS properties within the element box. So this is the box model. This you can see the margin. Okay, this is the margin. We will have a left margin, top margin, right margin, and the border margin, and whatever the background color or the background image of the particular elements parent, that will go in here. And this is the border of the HTML element. And if you specify padding, okay, so what you can understand is margin. You can say margin is the distance from the parent. So you can assume this is the parent, and this is the distance from the parent on all the sides. It will have four sides, left, top, right, and the bottom. And this is the element box, actual element box, and this is the actual element content area. What you are seeing in this box is the HTML actual content area. What is content area meaning? Where you want to display the content. This is the actual area that you can specify with the width and the height. And this content can have a padding from the element border. This is the element border, and padding is nothing but a space between its content box and the actual element border. So you can have a content spaced from the actual box, that is called as a padding. So similar to margin, we can have a padding on the left, top, right, and the bottom. And this particular space is used for the background color of the element or the background image of the element. So once again, I will explain the box model. Every HTML element will have it is represented as a box. Okay, in the box model, we can specify the margin. What is the margin? Margin is the spacing from the parent element on the all the sides, left, top, right, and the bottom. And in this margin, we can specify the background color or the background image of the element's parent. Inside the element border, we can specify the padding. What is the padding? Padding is the space between the border of the element and the actual content. So you can see this is the actual content. The actual content, some text is there. It is distanced from the border. So this is called as a padding. So this is similar to margin. We can have left, top, right, and the bottom padding. And in this particular area, we can display any kind of a background color or the background image for the particular element. And content area will be defined by the attribute width and the height. So whenever you specify width and the height, this is you are specifying the width and the height of the actual content. Background, the color or image of an element fills an element out to its border. So if it has one, that is in contemporary web design, it has become extremely common to use CSS to display purely presentational images such as background gradients and patterns, decorative images, rather than using a image element. So we can use the a background property, that is the box model property, for displaying the background color, or you want to have a certain kind of a image in the background. To fill that space, you can use that background property. These are the different background properties that we have. So this is a background. This is a shorthand property that allows you to set the background values in one property, while you can omit the properties with the shorthand. Do remember, at any omitted properties will be set by default only. So this is one shorthand property using which we can specify all the related properties, and if you miss any of those, then whatever is the default properties, that will be set as the value of that particular property. Then background attachment, specify whether the background image scrolls with the document or remains fixed. So background attachment, whatever is the background image, whether you want to make it as a scrollable or non-scrollable. So it will have a two values, fixed or scroll. Background color, you can specify whatever the color. You already know the how the color attribute is set as a name, as a RGB alpha, or hexadecimal. So you can set the background color. Background image, you can set the specific background image. You can choose any kind of a image files, JPG, JPEG, GIF, PNG, whatever is supported. You can use those as a background. Then background position. So if you want to set the background position, specifies where the element in the background image will be placed. Some possible include bottom, center, left, right. You can also supply a pixel or a percentage numeric position value. When supplying numeric value, you must supply horizontal, vertical pair. This value indicates its distance from the top left corner of the element. So one thing you have to remember is there are generic things which you can set bottom, so it will be set as bottom, center, left, right, or also you can specify it as a pixel, okay, or a percentage. And when you are giving a distance in terms of a pixel, it will be from the top left corner. Always it will take from the, suppose this is the some HTML element where you want to provide the image, you want to give a position for that. That will be done with reference to top left, okay, top left. From here it will be positioned. Background repeat, suppose if you want to repeat the particular image in the background, let us say you have chosen a particular background image which will not fill completely the background. That time you can say background repeat, the same smaller image will keep on repeating. And background size, this is new to CSS3. This property lets you modify the size of the background image, so you can modify the background image size. This is the example. We have background image URL. This is the GIF, okay. This is the property background hyphen image, and we are providing the URL and the location, and this is the location, body hyphen background hyphen title dot gif. This is the image, and which looks like this. And background hyphen repeat property we have given as a repeat. So if you give this as a repeat, so here you can take this as exactly to the scale. This, the element that you have the background is this big one, and the background image is smaller one. When you say repeat, it is going to repeat all over the background, so you will see the background like this only. And this is the example where you are saying no repeat. When you say no repeat, it will take only the whatever the actual size it occupies. So this is a smaller image compared to the background, so it will take only this position. So you will say the property value as no repeat. Then you will say repeat y, so it will repeat in only y direction. Repeat x, it will repeat in x direction. You can see this image repeating only in the x axis. Repeat y, it is repeating in the direction of y axis. repeat means it will repeat both X and Y, so it will fill up the complete background. Background position and other things we'll see it in the next class.